Welcome, it's denome. Has this ever happened to you that you were actually in a coin that, for a long time, and then it finally started going upwards, and you're already up maybe 2x, 3x, and then the coin just drops 50%. You're like, okay, I'm just gonna keep holding because it has so much potential, and you just keep holding on to it, and then it starts going upwards again, upwards again, and then you start feeling like, okay, this coin, it will just keep going upwards forever, and I'm just not gonna sell it. Then it actually dumps from here about 50%, and then you feel like, no, I'm not gonna take any profits out because it's just jumped by 50%, so better to just keep holding on to it. And then when it starts going upwards again, you're like, okay, great, maybe it does the same thing that it did already here, and I'm just gonna keep holding on to it because it can go more, like 10x that it already did here. So you're like, okay, let's just keep holding on to it, but then it just keeps dumping here, and then you're left with a coin here, and maybe this is even below your entry price, and you're just like completely depressed because you didn't take any profits out, and you forget crypto, and you're upset about everything and everyone. If this has happened to you, that's pretty okay, because that pretty much happened to everyone who has ever invested into anything that we didn't take profit out early enough. And for that reason, I wanted to find out the best ultimate exit strategy for altcoins that still keeps you exposed to the potential upside, but you actually lock in profits at perfect intervals so that you always lock in profits whenever the coin is actually going upwards. So I wanted to find out the ultimate exit strategy to minimize the risk, to maximize the potential, and to take out profits as often as possible. And at the end of the video, I will give you a spreadsheet that you can actually use to find out the best target prices for your coin or for yourself. So look out for that one at the end of the video as well. So now here are some of the calculations that I did over the weekend, and to be honest, it's a lot of calculations that I did, so I'm not going to cover everything that I did in this video, but I will explain a little bit of the methodology that I used here to find out the best strategy that I will give you at the end of the video as well. So first, I wanted to take out profit every time the coin doubles, because I wanted to have like a base to use for the other things that I wanted to experiment. So the first experiment that I did is that you actually take 50% out of the coin every time it doubles. But this is not actually a good strategy, because here you can see the value otherwise. When the coin goes to 2x, you have $2,000 if you invested $1,000. At 4x, of course, you have $4,000, 8x, $8,000, and so forth. And this 16x level is pretty much the one that we want to actually take a look at here as a comparison point. You usually don't get this much return on any coin in short time periods, but this is just a key level that I'm actually aiming at. I will explain later on why. But here, if you actually take profit $1,000 or 50% every time it doubles, so from $2,000 you take $1,000 off, so you're left with $1,000 in the coin. So your profit and your capital in the coin is still $2,000, so you still haven't lost anything at 2x, but you have actually locked in profits and you're still exposed with $1,000. But the problem here is that if you take out 50% every time it doubles, then your capital in the coin is never growing, so you're not gaining any exponential growth, because you're just hindering your success because of this one. So here you always take $1,000 profit out every time it doubles, but you're not really compounding anything. So that's the problem here. So this strategy at 16x, your potential loss, which is not really a loss, but your combined value of the $4,000 that you have taken profit, as well as the $1,000 you still have in the coin, is $5,000 compared to the $16,000 that you could have had. So for that reason, your loss is $11,000. But to be honest, this is not a real loss, because whenever you take profits out, you can reinvest that money into another coin that can make another pump for you. So this is not a real loss, but it's still, I consider it as a loss compared to the maximum potential value that you could have gained with this coin. And here you can see that the loss percentage is minus 68.75%. So it's a lot of loss that you gain if you actually sell this often with this much money. So the next strategy that I did is that maybe it's not a good idea to sell so much out. So maybe you sell 1/3 every time it doubles. So with that strategy, here you can see the calculations. So these are the profits that you actually take out, and at 16x you take or the last time you take profit out is $1,500, you're still left with $3,000 in the coin, as well as you have taken out $4,000 in profit. So just to compare into that one, you take the same amount of money out at 16x, but you still have $3,000 in the coin itself. So you're still compounding and you're still exposed to the upside. So for this reason, it's just a much better deal. Like, as you can see, the combined value of the profit that you have actually taken out, as well as how much money you still have in the coin, is still $7,500, which is 25% more, no, 50% more than you had in this strategy here. So taking 1/3 every 2x, it's just a much better strategy. And as you can see, the loss is only 53.2%. So it's just much better. And I did the same calculation here with 3x. Every time the coin goes up by 50%, every time the coin goes up by 67%, every time the coin goes up by 33.3%. So I did a lot of calculations, and then I made this chart here, but that's not really important. What's important here, now we get to the juicy part. And the juicy part is this experimentation that I did to find the ultimate best strategy to maximize your potential here. So the rules I had is that you want to take your own original capital out whenever the coin is at 3x. And a lot of people say this, that you take out your initial capital at 2 or 3x so that you are no longer exposed to the downside risk, because basically it's free money from that point onwards. And the next one is like, okay, if you're going to take your original capital out at 3x, might as well take out double the original capital at 6x. So you have actually doubled your real capital at 6x. And the next rule I had is that at perfect value, at 18x, you have about 50% loss. That's the goal here. And the last one is that the strategy has to be easy to follow. And from all of these, I actually have the results here. And I will explain, I have 4 results here, and I will give you what is my favorite strategy here, and then I will give you the spreadsheet. So here, the first strategy that is actually a really good strategy is that you take 25% profit at key levels. So at 2x, you take 25% out, 3x, you take 25% out, 6x, you take 25% out, 9x, and 18x. So here you can see that from 1 to 2x, the coin goes up by 100%, and from 2 to 3x, it goes up by 50% and so forth. So here you can see that after the coin doubles and you take 25% out, you actually, that is $500 in dollar value if you invested $1,000 here. And you still have $1,500 left in the coin. And yeah, that's the first level. And at 3x, now, because you took $500 out, you actually have to multiply 1,500 with 1.5x, because that's the only amount that you still had in the coin. So for that reason, you actually have $2,250 in the coin. You take $563 out, and you are left with $1,688 inside the coin, as well as the total value that you actually have taken out is more than $1,000 that you have in profit. So your combined value from the value that you have in the coin, as well as how much profit you have taken, is $2,750, which is only 8.33% loss compared to the $3,000 that you would have gained if you did not sell anything until 3x. So now you understand that even if you take a lot of profit out at 2x, it really doesn't matter. Like, does it really matter that you get $250 less at 3x versus you get $250 more at 3x, but you have actually just taken profit out and you have limited your risk. So that's the key point here, is that you're limiting your risk whenever you take profit. So I think this is a fairly good deal if you just take profits out. And again, this is not a real loss, because you can still reinvest that money into something else. Or if the coin or this coin that you are actually invested in actually drops in price, you can buy the dip with the profit that you took out to get more of that coin as well. So there's a lot of things that you can do with the dollars. So this is not a real loss. You also have to understand that one. So yeah, this is the first strategy. And at 6x, you have about $2,000 in profit as well as $2,500 inside the coin still, and at 18x you have $4,000 in profit as well as you still have $4,000 inside the coin. So here your combined value is $8,550, and that's really good at 18x, and you have limited a lot of your downside risk. So if you're not a trader and you're not trying to find the absolute best time to sell here, because nobody really knows how far these things can actually pump. Like when this pumped from here to here, who could have guessed that it goes up by 364%? It could have stopped here, it could have stopped here, and it could have dropped even below your entry price eventually. So because of these reasons, it is always a good idea to take some profits out. And obviously, it should be obvious to everyone that whenever these coins goes up and you think like, okay, the risk to reward starts to be that this may be a potential for another 2x, but the downside risk is 80%. So maybe it's just better to sell everything at that point. So you always have to keep that in mind as well. But this strategy is just there for you, that you just take profits along the way whenever you hold a coin. So you don't have to be exposed to the whole downside here whenever that happens. So that's the idea here. The next one is that instead of using fixed profit numbers here, maybe you want to take profit at even numbers. So maybe it would be easier for you to follow this strategy as well. And another thing that I added here is that I want to take profit out as often as I can. So at 50% gain, I already take some profit out. So these later strategies here also have a profit level at 1.5 as well. But anyway, with this strategy that you take $200 out at 50% gain, $300 out at 2x, so you have taken $500 out at this point, and at 3x you take another $500 out, so your total profit that you actually took out is $1,000 at this level, and you still have $1,650 exposure left in that coin, as well as the combined value is $2,650. So compared to this strategy here, which is the 2x strategy at the beginning, you are only $100 worse, but you took more profit out earlier. So I think it's a fair deal to take more profit out earlier than in that 2x strategy that I showed earlier. And at 6x, you take $1,000 out, so you have taken out a total of $2,000 in profit. You're still exposed to $2,300 inside the coin. Your loss at this point is only 28% compared to the absolute value of $6,000. So it's still reasonable in my opinion. And at 18x, you have taken profit $4,000 as well as you still have $4,000 of exposure. So this is a really good strategy if you want to look for even numbers, in my opinion, or even percentages. These are the percentages that you actually take out. Something like this, it doesn't have to be exactly like this whenever you take profit, but these were the optimal strategies that I was able to find out. But now let's talk about the absolute winner. This is the winner of all these strategies. So the best strategy that I was able to find out, which is easy to follow, is actually when you take 20% profit every time the coin goes up by 50%. So here, first the coin goes up by 50%, and when it goes up another 50%, then you are at 2.25x, and when it goes up by another 50%, then you are at 3.38x, and then 5.06x, and so forth. And here you take out 20% evenly every single time, so it's very easy to remember. And here, if you go to 3x, as you can see, you have taken out $1,000, and at between 5 and 7x, it's somewhere between here, you have actually taken out $2,000 in profit, as well as you still have exposure to another $2,000 inside the coin, as well as at 18x, you have taken profit about $4,000, as well as you still have about $3,000 exposure. But you really shouldn't look at this last level here, because this last level is not really 18x, because if you take out profit every 50%, then it actually 17x. So you should look at this one, but I just wanted to have the 18x, so that's why the last multiplier is custom made multiplier, just to get the 18x, and it's all comparable. So if you take a look at the 18x here, your value that you actually still have, or gained from this strategy is $7,655, which is worse than this strategy. It is worse than this strategy, but you just take profit more often. So this just limits your risk much more efficiently than all the strategies above, because you are taking profit more often. That's why I like this strategy the most, and also it's very easy to follow. And it suits all of the requirements that I set, all the rules that I set as well. And the last strategy, this is also a good strategy, but the value that you gain is $1,000 less than with this strategy if you take 15% out every time the coin goes up by 30%. So if you just want to take profit as often as possible, this is another good strategy, because at 3x you take $1,000 off, at 6x you take almost $2,000 out, as well as at 18x you take $4,000 almost out, and you still have $3,000 inside the coin. So this is another good strategy, but at 18x, if you ever can get to 18x, you lose a little bit more value than you would lose with the 50% strategy. So for that reason, overall, the 50% strategy, you take 20% out, is ultimately the best strategy in my opinion. So now let's go to the chart that I will actually give you, and then I will give you additional tips. So this is the spreadsheet that you can actually use. You can set up the date whenever you bought or sold something. You can select the coin here. You sold it you bought it with USD, and the amount of coins you bought was 100, and the price you got, you can put it here, $10 or $12 or whatever, and then it calculates the USD value for you, as well as here you can see the first price target for the 50% move is $18. And if you want to use another strategy, maybe you want to sell every 30% gain, you would simply change all of these numbers to 1.3. But for now, because this was the optimal strategy in my opinion, I set it up with 50% gain. So the first price target is $18, the next price target is $27, the next price target is $40.5, and so forth and so forth. So I put 5 targets here, as well as was it last week or the week before I talked about the dollar cost averaging. And in my opinion, I personally do not dollar cost average when the price is going up. I only dollar cost average when the price is going down. So the first price target here is when the coin drops by 25% value. So maybe you got into the coin, maybe it's a good time to also dollar cost average. So this also calculates those values for you. And again, you can change these values to anything you want. Maybe you want to dollar cost average every time the coin drops by 20%. You can put it to 0.8, but I've used it at 0.75, which means that when the coin drops by 25%, that's when you actually buy more. So it calculates the DCA targets for you as well. And how you want to use, before I show you the last tips for this video, the sell strategies, you can, by the way, mix and play with these numbers. So let's say if you want to use this strategy here and you want to take 20% out every time, or maybe you want to use take out 20%, 30%, 20%, 30%, you can calculate these and it calculates everything for you. So you can play around with these numbers as well if you want to as well, to find out the best strategy for you, what you think is the ultimate strategy here. So you can play around, and it's also a reminder for you to take a look at the different profit levels as well. So you can have this, it's in the description. But now let's talk about the last tips. So the first place that you can actually do this as well is called coinstats.app. So what you can do here is you can add portfolio, you can add transactions here. You can also attach it to your Binance exchange or another exchange or MetaMask wallet for all your DeFi holdings. And you can also have a manual here. So what you can have here actually is that I already put it here, but you simply click add transaction and you select your coin that you want to buy or you actually bought, and you select, let's use Binance in this example because it's here as the first one. So you select the amount, which is 100 coins, and again the price we got was $12 here, no fees, nothing like that, note, save, and it just gives you or saves you that you actually bought 100 linked tokens at that date at that price. So it just keeps track of your purchases and so forth. And what you can also do is at alerts here, what you can do is you can set up alerts by going to the alerts section here, click price limit here, and go to chain link, and you click that one, and you select link USD by volume. And if the price is more than $18, because that was the first target that we had with this price target here, when the price goes up by 50%, that's why we want to have a reminder that we actually sell it. So you can set these reminders when you should sell more or buy more. But what you can actually do more is, if you are using, or if you have funds in an exchange, you can set limit orders. So when you hold a coin, just set up a limit order and you can forget it immediately. So that's pretty much the best strategy. If you hold the coins inside an exchange, then just set a limit order for your coins to sell at certain prices. And if you're actually using DeFi places, the place that I would personally recommend is actually 1inch.exchange. It's a DeFi aggregator. So let's say you wanted to buy that band token here. 1inch.exchange, it aggregates DeFi exchanges or DEXs, and as you can see, the price that you can get for band is actually better on 1inch than it is on Uniswap. So for that reason, this is probably one of the best places to buy coins if you want to buy DeFi coins and you want to send limit orders for different DeFi coins as well. So you can set limit orders on 1inch.exchange, and you can bet that you always get the best price out of all the DeFi DEXs as well. So if you want to use limit orders, that is the perfect way to actually set these different price levels. And if you have money inside the centralized exchanges, you can actually set multiple limit orders just stacked on top of each other. So you can set all these price levels at one time and just forget about the asset for a while. And whenever you start to look at, like, okay, I think it's gonna be the top right now, and then just sell everything at that point. So there's no reason to hold a coin that you think will reverse the trend. So just sell at every time at that point. But when the coins are actually going upwards, this strategy that I showed here, this is excellent. So you're actually locking in profits at optimal levels, that you still have potential for the upside. You don't lose on that one, but you also limit your risk to the downside because you are taking profits as often as possible. So I hope this video was useful. I hope you learned something new. I hope you got some new ideas for this. If you want to set up a Binance account, use the link below to get 10% discount on fees. Coinstats app, they also had a referral system, so if you want to use that one, you can use my link, which is also somewhere down below as well. Anyway, that's it for this video. Leave a comment if you thought this was interesting. Hit the like button as well, and consider subscribing to the channel if you want to be updated on crypto stuff. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I will see you on the next video.